Are your emotions your reality? Are your emotions actually what's happening? Or a better question, have you ever done anything out of anger, sadness, anxiety, like we just felt like you had to do it and you just did it right in the moment, no thinking about it, no processing it, no looking at the other situations? I bet we all have. I know I did. I've hurt a lot of people out of anger, and I've made a lot of dumb decisions and buying stuff or moving too fast out of anxiety and angst. Like we've all been there, and that answers the bigger question: is our feelings, like, or what we feeling, actually what's happening? Like, is what we thinking and what's going on inside of our heart, is that actually what's happening? Like, because I know we live in a society where when people can see the truth, but how they feel, that's what they go off of. It doesn't matter what the truth is. That's why you have all these situations of like being triggered when there's no trauma involved. You just feel like doing what you want to do. Or people are so offended. You can tell and show somebody the truth that's constructive, and it doesn't matter how you put it, is that they get offended because they're operating out of all those feelings. And that's what they go off of. They feel like they have to say this. They have to cuss that person out. They have to quit the job when their boss says something like that they don't like. Or they don't like this friend anymore after years because they disagreed on something. Like, those are all examples of people living out of those feelings. And if you have done that and if you're continuing to do that, you know who you are. And there's ways to get that together, because we can't have our emotions our God, because that makes your life so much harder. There are people in prison because they let their anger and their desperation get the best of them. I want y'all to think about that. There are people in prison because they let their emotions get the best of them. There are people that are divorced because they let their emotions get the best of them in the moment. There are people who are dead because they have let their emotions get the best of them in the moment. In the past couple years, I've been in situations where I've come across people who have let their emotions get the best of them. And like I said, I've done this, so I know, so I understand where those people were coming from. I remember this one time, I was dating somebody a long time ago, and I told her, like, the patterns I saw, I didn't like it, and I think we should take a step back, just set some boundaries. She started comparing me to her past experiences, and it was not appropriate. And then I told her the truth about what I was seeing and how I didn't like it. And we basically cut things off. And she further, and she kind of blew up. She kind of went off on me a little bit. She basically alluded to her emotion. She has trouble separating her emotions from reality. So now there's a bad taste in that situation, and it didn't have to be like that. Another situation, I was real close with this one person, and for a couple years, and we had a disagreement where I told him, I'm like, look, I need space for a couple hours to not talk. And this person proceeded to, text and be anxious and try to get me to talk, right? When I wasn't in the right headspace for it. So I checked up on him, but I talked to him a little bit. Next day, checked up on him a little later. And they called me, they blew up on me, said I treated them like a person that abused them and stonewalled them. And did all this other stuff, assumed that they were having a good day. That's what I was checking on them for. And we were never cool after that, for real. So a couple years in that instant dissipated, fully dissipated, all off of emotion. So, and it didn't have to be like that. So from my personal experience and from those two situations, don't let your emotions get the best of you. Literally take a step back before you do something. If you're feeling all high, you feeling all sad, you feeling all take a step back, look at reality, look at those text messages, look at what is being said, look at what's actually happening, and be like, hey, what is real and what am I experiencing? Because those are two different things oftentimes. And then process through that. Just sit on it. Sit on it for a second before you do anything to ruin a relationship, a job opportunity, your health, your safety, the safety of others. Like, there's so many things. Just take a step back. You're not in any rush to act out. So don't pop off. Take a step back, process it, and then take the appropriate action after you go through all the avenues of like consequences, because consequences ain't all bad, but you can make a bad decision based on your consequences. So, or based on your emotion. You make a bad decision based on your emotions, and therefore you could bring forth bad consequences. So just have good consequences and check your emotions. Process your feelings. Don't stay in your feelings, and don't let them rule your life. You got a mind for a reason. Don't let your heart have the pilot all the time. The heart is deceitful, but the mind brings forth wisdom. You gotta be wise with your decisions. So process your emotions. Don't let your feelings ruin your life. All right, y'all.